Relevance of the environmental impact of the clothing industry. So, at the moment, the fashion industry is currently the second largest polluter in the world. It's second only to the oil industry. The fashion industry as a whole accounts for 10% of total global carbon emissions due to energy of production, manufacturing, and then transportation of textile goods. And so the fashion industry contributes to pollution in many ways. The first way is through its high use of water. So currently, the fashion industry consumes about 200 tons of fresh water per 1 ton of dyed fabrics. And on top of this, large textile companies also take their factories to developing countries where there are less regulations. That way, they can cut costs and dispose of untreated toxic waste just by releasing it through local rivers rather than um, treating the toxic water and then releasing it back into the rivers prior or after it's treated. And then the second way that it contributes to pollution is through waste accumulation. So currently, about 85% of textile goods end up in the landfill or are incinerated. So that means 85% of all clothes end up in the landfill or are burned. And so burning also contributes to carbon emissions. Um, and so with that, only 15% of goods are either donated or recycled. Currently, in the average Western family throws out about 66 pounds of clothes each year. So as a whole, the Western population is producing a lot of clothing into landfills rather than donating or recycling old clothes. And then the third way is through carbon emissions. So the whole process of creating clothes accounts for 10% of the global carbon emissions through the production, manufacturing, and then transportation of textile goods. But on top of that, fossil fuels are also needed to make synthetic fibers such as nylon or polyester. And then on top of that, um, good synthetic fibers such as nylon or polyester are non-biodegradable, so they end up in landfills and can stay there for approximately 200 years before they decompose. And so at the moment, 72% of clothes are made from synthetic fibers. So the fibers we are using to make our clothes aren't the best, and a majority of them aren't biodegradable.